I'm out here today with my 2002 Haro shredder. I did quite a bit of work to this bike, and I'm going to cover that today in this video. Pretty sweet looking bike. It's original paint, frame, and fork. I kind of view this to be the pinnacle of the shredder series, mainly because it's got longer pro-size geometry and it is full chromoly. And when I first picked this up, I saw the seat mass decal, it says chromoly steel, and I'm waiting for the part below there where it says like seat tube or down tube. So the first thing I did is I checked the catalog in the reference section of the BMX museum, and sure enough, full chromoly frame and fork in the Haro catalog, no doubt about it. It was also a LSD setup from the factory. I had changed some things on it. I did a full overhaul and then some. I had gotten it in well-ridden condition, and it needed a lot of TLC, and it got every bit of that when it came to me. So some of the things I want to point out here that I've done is I refinished the handlebars, the Haro Mira Y2K knee savers. These are chromoly bar. These were stripped and painted gloss black. The brake levers had the bodies stripped and powder coated gloss black, and the crank arms, sprocket, and seat post also all powder coated gloss black. And factory, these actually only come with one chain tensioner on the drive side, but I happened to come across another base coincidentally, so I had fabricated another backing plate using the factory one as a template, and it's a very, very close match. That little component's also been powder coated gloss black. I shortened the pegs, took 2 ribs off the back pegs and 1 rib off the front pegs. They are not fusion front pegs, and these are the factory rear pegs that work with the anti-roll system of the chain tensioners. So I used the chop saw, took 2 even ribs off, then taped off the outer peg, sanded and painted the inside of all 4 pegs so that they're black in there instead of rusty and ugly looking, and then I laid on some strips of clear grip tape that does not wrap around the underside for your grind surface. That's only on your top, like 2/3 around the top. The bottom 1/3 is not wrapped in grip tape. I polished the sidewalls of the wheels. I just broke it down with a 240 grit on the sandpaper, on the sander, 240, 320, 400, and then broke into the wet sanding. I went 600, 1000, 1500, 2000, 2500, and then just some mother's polish. And they're beautiful. They're just absolutely awesome. And granted, the braking performance isn't quite as there with a standard set of brake shoes that come loaded in here, but one could easily replace the brake pads to a gummier compound and kind of regain some of that performance lost to the polished surface, but they look beautiful. I mean, it's a trade-off that's worth it in my book. I also actually painted these tires. I just got 2 rolls of electrical tape, taped off all the tread surface, and just went around at the line where they would go from standard tread to gum wall, and just painted them with some dual-in-one paint and primer, khaki tan color. I couldn't find any skin walls, so I had actually picked up a bike one time that it had some paint on the tires, and I tried to scrub it off, and it was very difficult to remove. I actually had to use like a brass bristle brush to even get it to come off. So I thought, hey, why not deliberately paint them to get the look I want? So I did. It turned out alright. I also did dual cable routing on here. The upper section of the upper gyro cable, this portion and this portion are both painted, and all the rest of the red cables are all natural red cables. I just employed a couple of cable stops available at the auto parts store. That's just a wristband off my Craftsman glove to hold the cables to the frame here. And this little loop deal is just a couple little loops welded to a bolt that I had made, spray painted black, and black Ops brand London mod. And then a slight modification was made to the cable holder back here to put in a stop nut. And that's it. There was some chips all around here. I would imagine the kid that I got it from was toting a lock, and you know, that's why the seat post was probably pretty ugly, so that's why that was powder coated. And then I put on some grip tape here, kind of shaped like a rocket, to cover up the majority of all those chips that were up there. And then I'm also guessing that he had put the bike like over a low bar rack that ran through here, because originally these stripes here on the decal had wrapped around and linked the two Haro bike logos together, but it was all scuffed up along here. Like I'm saying, I'm guessing from him probably putting it over a low bar rack or something of that nature. And so I put a piece of painter's tape along there and then carefully removed all the decal between there, all that scuffed up ugliness, and then now it's clean and waxed, and there's a few scuffs that, you know, had went through the decal and got the paint, but there's no dents in the frame anywhere. And it just, once I removed that understriping, it isolated those decals and, you know, made that logo kind of pop a little more. Well, I think that pretty well covers this one. Thanks for having a look.